Hey guys, welcome to another credit card news live stream. I'm Cal Barton. It's good to have you. Hope you're having a good weekend. I want to say hello first, Danny Boy. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Sin and Madness, I see you. Sack Fett. I hope I said that right. Sack Fett. Sock Fett. Bruce Wayne. What's up, buddy? DJ Bruce Wayne. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Because I actually know one way to kind of get back. Somebody chose to get back, but it's very small. But we'll talk about that. I just want to get right into the news here. Let's start with the first story here. We have Starbucks customers have more than $1 billion sitting on gift cards. Starbucks just revealed that a whopping $1 billion is sitting on their gift cards, unused. Interim CEO Howard Schultz told investors in a second quarter earnings call that the cards are unused by over 120 million people. Customers purchased 46 million cards in 2020 alone, totaling 12.6 billion in gift cards. Starbucks cards by themselves are bigger than the entire gift card industry. Imagine that. That is massive. And it's hard to believe that it's larger than Amazon gift cards, right? And for me, those are good as cash. Gift cards can be a boon to retailers as recipients often don't use them in full. This essentially gives free money to the card issuer, as nearly 40% of 18 to 29-year-olds lose their gift cards before they can spend them, and around 25% of 30 to 65-year-olds do the same. So, you know, these aren't the only things. It's like free money for these credit card issuers, or for these companies. And they also kind of get free money with rebates, and it works the same way with credit card rewards. As you saw in my last video, you know, roughly 27%, or I think it was around 30% or so of people don't actually redeem their rewards. And most people I've seen, even in my audience, will kind of nest egg all that cash back, all those rewards, in hopes of using them on a future trip or some sort of vacation. And sometimes it just never happens. So this is just a nice little gift to these companies. Oftentimes with the gift cards, they'll have expiration dates and kind of these really strict usage restrictions. And it's just hard to use them at some time. And so there's actually a solution for this. And I've used this to buy gift cards. I have not used them to sell gift cards, but it's called Card Cash. And there's a few competitors, but the one that I have chosen to use is Card Cash. And here's what the website looks like. And so here we just took $100 of a Starbucks gift card. As you can see right here up top, you have Starbucks, $100, and you can actually get a cash offer. So they'll actually send you cash. It'll probably be deposited. You can transfer it via PayPal or something like that, but you can just go ahead and cash it out for a little bit of a fee. And you can see it has some major retailers that you can basically trade for. Amazon is as good as cash money. So you can get $80 cash on the spot. And there you ensure that you're able to use it. Those never expire. And so it's just a good way to kind of consolidate all those, you know, gift cards you might get during your birthday, or especially during Christmas. You get all these random gift cards. You don't know what to do with them. You're like, I'm never going to shop here. But here's a way you can kind of trade up and kind of move that money to places that you would actually use to spend. All right, next story here. The U.S.'s open banking rule is being bogged down by privacy concerns. So a long-awaited U.S. open banking rule that could dramatically boost consumer finance competition and increase America's access to financial services is being held up by privacy concerns, according to 5 people with knowledge of the matter. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau rule would allow consumers to easily share their financial data with third parties. This would remove a key obstacle to switching service providers that might offer lower fees. Advocates say open banking will make it easier for non-banks like technology companies to compete with traditional financial institutions, lowering costs and boosting millions of Americans' access to financial services. So Um, Open banking would unleash a slew of payment, investment, lending, and financing and money saving services and apps. For example, Americans could share all their bank account, debit, and credit card transaction data with an app that could then provide tips on how to avoid a range of costly fees. So I'm thinking of apps like Mint. SoFi has Relay. Uh, they basically incorporate functionality that will even the Apple Card. If you look inside of your Apple Wallet, it will aggregate all that data, and it'll give you some nice, beautiful graphs to show you where you're spending your money and color coded and everything. So I'm guessing that would facilitate more apps like that to kind of proliferate throughout the market. I'm all for that personally. I'm really big on fintech companies, on what they call neobank companies that kind of come into the market. They disrupt things. They offer you more features, more services at lower rates, or especially sometimes for free. So if it's going to lead to something like that, then I'm all for it. Privacy, I think we lost that battle, honestly. And I know a lot of people are very leery about giving up more data, but I think we already let that cat out of the bag. I think that's gone. I think if you look at the multitude of ways you're being tracked at every level, you might as well get the most for the data that you're giving up. This is what I feel. I feel like it's kind of, at this point, I think that fight might be not worthwhile. We got the next story here. 29% of consumers usually revolve credit card balances. So they're saying paycheck to paycheck consumers are 3 times as likely to revolve credit card debt and carry higher monthly balances, according to a new study. Consumers who never pay their credit balances in full also tend to hold more credit cards than average, according to the research, which also finds that 29% of credit card holders always or usually revolve their balances. So, it's saying that paycheck to paycheck consumers who pay their bills with no issues report an average spending of $3,100 and a limit of $6,500. Consumers who don't live paycheck to paycheck report an average spending of $2,100 and $9,000 limit. So there's a few concepts that that come to mind when I see this happening. First off, I know you guys in my audience are really kind of outliers. We use cards for our own benefit, and we don't pay any fees, interest. I know some of you pay annual fees, which I don't agree with personally, but I know that you're getting the most from those cards, and they're valuable to you in the way that you spend, you spend your money. And so I think that these people who are revolving balances, those are the people that are paying for our rewards. So you should thank them. They are, in addition to the credit card issuers earning money through interchange fees, which are the fees that they charge each merchant. It's like 1 to 3% from each merchant that you buy from, and annual fees, and then interest charges. Those are all the things they take that big lump sum of money, and then they just pay us out a small percentage, a small pittance of that. And that's our rewards program, and we benefit greatly from that. So there's two key concepts that really come to mind is the hedonic treadmill. And if you don't know, the hedonic treadmill is kind of you as you make more money, you're just searching for the next place to spend more money. You buy something, you buy an item, you got a new laptop, and you're like, this is old, the novelty worn off, and you're like, I need another new laptop, or I need another new phone, or I need another gadget or gizmo, and it's just never enough because you're feeling that void is unsustainable. You're not you're insatiable. You just have to continuously spend more money to get that same high, and you can never completely satisfy it. And so that's a problem that we're dealing with greatly here, I believe, in society. Another thing is lifestyle creep. And so that's basically when you are earning more money's coming in, but you find a way to always spend it all. As soon as you make more money, you're like, I need a better car. I need a newer house. I need more shoes. And you just always find a way to take that extra money that you could be saving or you could be investing, and you find a way to always spend it. And you end up being that person earning $100,000 or more that's living paycheck to paycheck. And that's surprising, right? Jorge, what's up, man? I see you. So next story here. If you have an Apple Card, it's good news. Wendy's restaurants are now accepting Apple Pay inside the store. So we're just seeing this. It's kind of coming out in, little dribbles and drabs. It's coming out that we're seeing the Apple payment system spreading nationwide and worldwide. And so, and here you should be able to use Google Pay as well. Whenever you see the 3 dots at the top of the screen at the payment, the point of sale system, that means that it's going to accept that mobile payments there. So that's good news. That means that you're going to earn 2% on your Apple Card. I keep saying this. The Apple Card is quickly becoming a ubiquitous 2% cashback card. Because remember, anywhere that you are using Apple Pay with your Apple Card, you're earning 2% back. So I think this is I think in a couple of years, we're going to see that this is basically a flat rate 2% card. All right, so next story. Mastercard is beefing up its defenses against first-party fraud. So Mastercard is building more capabilities around fraud detection as part of a strategy to win more business from companies that might otherwise turn to fintechs for the same services. In addition to competing against fintechs, Mastercard is also in a tech arms race with Visa, which is similarly upgrading its fraud detection capabilities. For Visa and Mastercard, managing identity for fast-moving digital commerce transactions is also a way to demonstrate utility beyond payment processing. So, credit card issuers use these complicated algorithms to look for unusual transactions. And I see that all the time, especially with my SoFi credit card. At times, it'll just deny the transaction. This probably happens, maybe once every 2 weeks. It'll just deny a transaction, and it'll send me a text message and say, "Hey, was that you?" Send Y for yes or N for no, and all I have to do is text back Y, and then I can go ahead and make that transaction. So gone are the days where they just immediately decline you and just shut down your card, and when you have to call into customer service, that's a huge hassle. And so these fintech companies are finding ways to use algorithms that can tell, what's your location? What are your normal spending habits? Does this make sense for your profile? And so this is going to cut back on that $35 billion in annual losses. And this is what Mastercard is up to. Definitely good to be competitive with these fintech companies, because they're coming in the market to disrupt them. So here we go. Next story. You might have heard of this, crypto.com. If you're into crypto, best of luck to you. I'm personally not into crypto. Is significantly lowering the rewards of its popular debit cards. So crypto.com announced Sunday that its Visa debit cards will soon be less enticing. Starting June 1st, the suite of debit cards will earn significantly lower rewards, and the rewards for the Ruby Steel and Royal Indigo Jade Green cards will now have a monthly rewards cap. The limits will reset on the first of every calendar month, and the card rewards will also be dramatically lowered. Initially, the company was also planning to remove CRO staking rewards completely. So listen, it's obviously, and I think it said this in an article, they found that their rewards program was unsustainable. They found it was just not profitable enough to warrant giving them such high rewards. And typically, from my personal experience, I see whenever these changes start to happen, it's kind of like a domino effect. It's just kind of the first. It's just the first kind of domino the fall, and it's just going to end up being changed again and eventually being phased out completely. I think eventually they're just going to get to a point where they remove the CRO staking completely like they wanted to in the beginning. I saw this happen with a couple of credit cards actually. You got the Uber card, which I've been very vocal about, and it's really concerning to see that, you know, whenever a new credit card issuer or fintech company comes into the market, you always have to be a little skeptical of what they're offering, because they're trying to gain a customer base and they're trying to be very competitive. And sometimes that's what they'll do on the front end, and then they'll start to change their reward systems. And you have to always remember, I can't stress this enough, a credit card company can change basically any aspect about their reward system. They can cancel your card, they can lower the rewards rate, and there's really no recourse from that as a consumer. They have that ability, and that's written right into their into the fine print. So Amex is now letting you cancel flights for any reason, up to 75% back. That's what you'll get back. American Express has announced the launch of Trip Cancel Guard, a new benefit for American Express U.S. consumers and business card holders. It allows travelers to cancel flights for any reason, up to 75% reimbursement of non-refundable flight costs booked on AmexTravel.com. You just need to cancel your flight at least 2 calendar days before the departure date. While it's not an ideal option, Amex Trip Cancel Guard could be useful for specific cases of unforeseen circumstances. So a few things to note here. It's going to cost you 8% of the total price of the ticket, and it only works for flights, and it only works for these purchases with your points on the Amex travel.com website. So, you know, this is something that I've really had. I've always struggled with Amex and some of these, you know, even with Chase, and we're going to talk about this in depth a little bit later. But I just don't like any sort of restrictive program where you have to double and triple check what you're doing, and you have to basically plan 3 steps ahead like you're playing chess. I don't want to play that game. I want to have very simple, easily understandable rewards and benefits that I can use consistently. I want it to be the same month in and month out. And so I don't want to do a ton of extra work. I'm already working full time. I already have, you know, just, you know, work around the house to do. I don't want to have another system to learn that is going to end up biting you, because you think that you're going to get reimbursed, and you find out that this particular flight is not covered, or you waited too long. So it's a little concerning that it's costing you something. It would be great if this was just if it was just a free service that they offered. That would be something. So when I first saw the headline, I was kind of getting excited, but obviously they have to charge you. So that's really not, that's something that I like. All right, next story. Are travel cards with high annual fees worth the money? Are they worth the money? You guys can let me know in the chat. And so here's the deal. I found this article very interesting because it addresses the psychology of using credit cards. Really strikes at the heart of that issue. For certain frequent travelers, high fee cards can easily pay for themselves and be worth much more than their triple digit fees. Over the course of a year, the challenge is to get beyond the glossy marketing. The perk sprawl, that's a key term right there. I love that when they coin their terms. The perk sprawl. Think of like Amex Platinum card with their laundry list of perks, right? They got $1,200, $2,000 worth of perks. Just a list. You can't use hardly any of them yourself, but they're there. So they have the perk sprawl and the sheer allure of spending. Reward centers in the brain that are sensitive to pleasure are specifically activated by the possibility of purchasing something with a credit card. If you use the card for happy experiences, that card acquires some of the associations with the purchases you've made. That gives it a kind of psychological glow, right? And so it continues on here. That glow is one reason travel cards, with their promise of easy luxury and exotic locales and rich incentives, can feel a lot more enticing than getting cash back. You know, I love cash back. That's what I'm all for. It's right there in the title. The most visible and common incentives are rewards points, which are ladled on by the thousands and can be worth hundreds of dollars. American Express, for instance, is offering a sign-up bonus of 100,000 points for the Platinum card. Rewards points are what I like to call a buffer currency. Buffer currency. It doesn't feel like you're spending money. Even if it did, it could be hard to determine how much you're spending. So that buffer currency is key, right? Because I call it like a mental disconnect. You're used to spending dollars. Now you got Amex points. How do you equate the two? Now you're disassociated these two currencies. You have one currency that's used by the credit card issuer, which is Amex. You have dollars. You know what a dollar can get you, but how much can 100 points get you? Who knows? It changes. It's fluctuating. So psychologically, it's a little bit more abstract. And so I just find it very interesting of how that can become enticing, because you link that to vacations and high-end travel. But I want to bring up Dave Ramsey real quick, because Dave Ramsey, even though he vehemently disagrees with using credit cards, he always talks about psychology and personal finance, and how he'll make recommendations for you to do certain things that don't make sense numbers wise, but it makes complete sense by how people behave, how they spend money. So for example, let's say that you want to pay off your lowest debt first. Even if the lowest debt doesn't have the highest interest rate, he still wants you to start with that because you can get the ball rolling. And so he understands that if you could just get the ball rolling on paying debt off, then you're going to be more successful, because it's basically like you're playing basketball and you make one shot. Once you see that ball go in the bucket one time, you're going to understand that you're a good shooter, and you're going to get that confidence up, and you're going to want to shoot more, and you're going to start shooting better. It's the psychology. So I think it's a really strong point. Now, if you're into the travel cards and you find them valuable, it's all about what you find valuable to you. I personally have not found a travel card that made sense for me, that I could easily see myself using and getting extraordinary value. The problem is that these cards have annual fees. And so you basically have to every year have to dig yourself out of the annual fee hole and earn as much value as possible so that you can exceed the cost of the annual fee. And I just haven't found a card that I could use myself and recommend to you that meets that threshold. All right, I want to give a shout out real quick. Ace Spade, what's up? Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Jorge, what's up, man? So you're saying, will Amazon ever accept Apple Pay? That's it. I think that it's gonna, I'm not sure what it's gonna come down to, but they're gonna hold out as long as possible, right? The same thing with Walmart. They're gonna want to use their own payment system. They're behemoths. They're the largest retailers. One's the largest online, and the other is the largest, brick and mortar retailer. They don't want to pay those fees. They don't want to accept that payment. So it might be a few years. I think they'll inevitably have to work something out and accept Apple Pay, because there's just going to be too many consumers using that as a payment method, and they're going to be really asking for it. Yeah, so Danny, you're saying, Danny's saying, I get that when I use my SoFi card at Chevron in my Apple wallet, it gets declined, but use my physical card, it gets accepted. Yeah, it's just, yep, that the companies just can't come to an agreement. That's the issue. Lunchbox 701, welcome to the stream. You're saying fintech or credit union. I'm looking to get one of them and not sure which way to go. Well, I think it depends on what your goal is. I think I'm always gonna go with that. What is your ultimate goal? I'll just tell you what I personally use as my base is this SoFi. I use a SoFi money checking account. I use their whole system. I use the SoFi money checking account. I use the SoFi Invest for automatic investments into the S&P 500 index fund. And then I use the SoFi credit card as my base flat 2% cashback card. It's been working out well. I've had that set up for about 2 years. Yep. And so it's everything is automated, and I like that system so far. A Spade, how do you know when you're bucketed? There's no real official, you don't call in and they say, hey, you're bucketed, buddy. Get off the line. Or you're bucketed. Get out of here. Scram, skedaddle. But you can basically make that assessment when you don't get a credit limit increases. You don't get credit limit increases over the course of a year. So you request twice and you don't get an increase. And then maybe you request a third time and you only get $100 increase. That's a good sign that you're in their bad bucket. And so at that point, what you would want to do, I think my game plan, once I found out that I was in the bucket, I would use it as my main daily driver card for a period of 3 to 6 months and see if I get an automatic increase. And then maybe at the end of 3 months, I would request an increase. Once I gave it a really good effort and they still did not increase my limit, then I would set it to the side and then just pursue other cards. Because at that point, your credit's already improving and it's probably already at a good enough point to qualify for other cards. And so I would just focus on that. I was focused on going to, Citi, like the Citi custom cash card. I would focus on getting maybe a flat 2% card, whether it be a SoFi credit card if you want to get in their system, or the Citi double cash card. So, and if you like Chase, you go for the Chase Freedom Unlimited or Chase Freedom Flex cards. I like those too. Oh, dude, DJ Bruce Wayne, what's up? That's a good point, man. I want to address that. It's a great stimulating mind trick game in some ways with all the incentives and obtaining them. It's not a simplified process. So yeah, I think what you're speaking to is kind of the hobby aspect of it and being able, it's like the gamification of earning rewards. And I can understand the value in that. You see, you can put your own value on that. If you like to play games and not in a bad way, but you like to reach a high score and completely understand their system and use it to its max and get the maximum value and potentially earn better rewards than just using a cashback system, then you can then I think it's really good for you. So that's why I'm not gonna say it's that it's bad for everyone. I just personally, I don't use cards like that, and maybe in the future that'll change because I've actually come around to some of the rotating category cards, so I might come around. Cinematics, what's up? Can you post that comment again? I didn't see what you're referring to. All right, Danny boy, you're saying you're recommending to Lunchbox try FNBO. I like that. SoFi, PenFed, DCU, and some other ones I can't think of right now. Okay. Yeah. Also, I would add in there the Pennsylvania State Educators, PSEDU, something like that. I would throw that in the box because that's nationwide. That's a nationwide credit union. FNBO, the good thing about FNBO, which is First National Bank of Omaha, what I like about what they do is that you can soft pull, you get pre-qualified for their card, and you can actually see your credit limit before you accept the offer. So I love that part. It works similar to the Apple Card. So if you're not interested in getting a low limit card, then you'll know before you even have to, initiate a hard pull. Jorge, you're saying any updates on the Slide cashback portal? Are you talking about the Slide app where it gives you 4% back on when you go through their portal? I haven't seen any major updates there, but I keep that on my phone because, potentially you could achieve some really high percentage cashback rates using those because they stack together. We'll have to discuss that at some point. A Spade, how do you come out of a credit bucket? Yeah, that's the burning question. I'm gonna be searching that like every single week. As of right now, there is no way to definitively get out of a credit bucket with Capital One. They seem to just a couple of things that you should know from what I've seen is that Capital One uses their automated system to a T, and so there's nobody manually reviewing your credit report and your profile. Whatever they input to their algorithm is going to be what they use to assess your credit worthiness. And so people have been finding that they'll randomly get an increase just out of the blue. It could be months later, it could be a month later, a year later. So the only tried and true method to get out of a bucket is to completely ditch that card and apply for a brand new card once you know that you have a good credit score and a nice healthy credit file. Ellen Beck, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. So yeah, you know what, Danny, it's a good feeling. Psychologically, yeah, it feels great, right? You gotta prove you're like, when you get approved for a new card or you get a credit limit increase, it feels great. It does. You get an extra, little pep in your step for the rest of the day. Like, you know what? I got some good credit. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, Lunchbox. You're saying you were thinking about SoFi. Heard a lot of great things about them. Yeah, I've had no problem with them. I'm just gonna say a few things. They don't have Zelle. There's no support for Zelle. So if you like to transfer money in and out to other people, you're not gonna be able to use that right now. and there's no way to increase your credit limit at this point. Hopefully this year they're going to add that ability, so you can't request a credit limit increase. The good thing about that is that on the flip side, the lowest credit limit they will offer is $1,000, but which is, you know, higher than other credit card issuers minimum. Yeah, Jorge. So you're saying that you think it all depends on everyone's annual incomes. That's the one factor plays a role into determination of the bucketing system. I'm not sure if that, I haven't seen evidence that the annual income will determine your bucket, but what annual income will do is greatly improve your starting credit limit and the size of the credit limit increases that come after that. And that's what I've personally seen. If you have as my income has gone up and I've been able to put higher and higher incomes down on the applications, the larger starting limits have gotten. So that's incredibly important for that. Yeah, that's a good point, Danny. So you're saying that definitely look into credit unions. It's mainly about relationships. Yeah, they call it relationship banking because they are particularly concerned about your payment history with them, how many credit products you have used with them, and the amount of time that you have been, you know, building that relationship and with them. And so I've seen people achieve some really good high limits with PinFed in particular. And then I was pre-approved for a nice, almost a $10,000 limit with FNBO. So yeah, that if you don't have the ability to achieve higher limits with the consumer credit cards, if you go the route of the credit unions, you'll have much better luck there. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Cinematics, what's up? Hello. Tell me something. Do you have some new deals I should be aware of? Because I want to know. I want to earn some money. I want to make some money on these accounts. All right, Bruce Wayne. Good job on that. Congratulations on getting that $9,000 limit. You know, that makes me think about how some people are going to have better experiences with credit card issuers. For whatever reason, they look at you more favorably, whether it be the time that you applied or, you know, they particularly like your credit profile. You might have better luck with the same credit file with a different credit card issuer. So it's always good to you know, try your hand with different issuers. And some people even say that it's good to kind of diversify who you have cards with. You don't want to have just credit cards with Chase. You don't want to just have a Chase trifecta, because what if something happens with that? And Danny, I bring this up pretty much every stream. If you have a bunch of cards with Synchrony, right? and those cards get shut down because it happens to some people like it did to Danny, then you could possibly lose half of your available credit limit all in one fell swoop. So you definitely want to have a diverse set of credit cards from different issuers. Down with Synchrony, down with them. Yeah, let's talk about that, Jorge. You're saying that Cap One is the only top 10 major US bank who adapted into the fintech era and improved its daily banking features. So yeah, Capital One has their 360 account and that you can set up for free. A lot of the other brick and mortar banks don't have have an account that you can actually open for free. It doesn't have any like minimum requirements for money deposited or some sort of direct deposit requirement. So that is a really good point. And also, I want to say to Capital One, it gets a lot of flack, but they're accepting people that otherwise wouldn't have been able to get a unsecured credit card. And so it's kind of biting them that their cards are not growing with their card holders. And yeah, those are some good points about Capital One. That's a really good point. Ace of Spade. I keep saying Ace of Spade. It's just Ace Spade. Can you answer this? I called the credit card company and I asked a few questions only to find out that they lowered my credit. Why is that? Yeah, that's something that I was actually looking into earlier this week, and that happened a lot during the pandemic, where they don't want to expose themselves to more risk. So I guess they found the financial climate of the pandemic, when people were losing their jobs or getting their hours cut, that it became more risky for these people to have that same available credit when their income was either going away or as a whole was just going down. So that they tend to pull back, and they can actually do that at the drop of a hat. They really don't answer to any governing body when it comes to that. They can make those changes to your account at a moment's notice. And so they're going to give different excuses about the situation. Like they'll say that you don't use your card enough, and they found that you didn't use. Who uses their entire, even an average person doesn't use their entire credit limit every month. So really they're trying to gauge their risk in the market, and they're going to pull back credit from some so that they don't have too much available credit out there, and people will spend the whole limit and then default. Sin Madness, I see that comment right there. I see that. I see you. Yeah, Capital One, Danny. So he's saying that it's been out of your view because of the low limits and denials. The only bright spot that I would say to Capital One with their cards in particular is that they don't charge the foreign transaction fees with the Quicksilver card. So if you don't have any other cards, which a lot of people might not have other cards that don't charge those fees, and you travel and you just want a simple cashback card, then the Quicksilver will be good for that. If you're traveling the world, it's going to be good for that. It's also their Venture X card. A lot of people are very excited about it being more competitive with a lower annual fee than the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Amex Platinum, and it's offering some pretty good travel benefits. Yeah, Jorge, I haven't looked into it, but I'm pretty certain that they offer mortgages. A Spade, you're saying is Capital One bucket everyone? Yeah, I think they're in some sort of bucket. Personally, when I started with Capital One was a little bit later in my kind of in my journey, credit journey. So I was able to qualify for, I guess, their the excellent version of the Quicksilver card. I got the $200 intro bonus, and it started with a $15,000 limit. Funnily, funny enough, it's to this day, it's still my highest limit card. I rarely ever use it, and it just kind of sits there. So I'm thinking the next video I'm going to do is going to be on Chase. I'm going to do something. Chase is actually offering, I've seen some chatter about Chase and how they're making some adjustments with their credit limits for some people that have good relationships with that issuer. And I think that story needs to be told. So if you have a Chase card, you're in for some good content. All right, guys. Okay, Danny, you're saying, Cinematis, I see you posted 2 comments just now up there. Can you post it again for me so I can see it below? I don't want to have to look through it. Danny, you're saying, which do you prefer, Visa, Mastercard, Discover, or Amex? You know, I actually have 0 Amex cards. I have none to this day. I don't have a Discover card either, actually. That got canceled due to inactivity. So I only have Visa, and most of my cards are Mastercards. Most of them are Mastercards. I think that Mastercard may be offering better deals with these credit card issuers. Their fees must be lower because most cards coming out these days are Mastercard. Even the Quicksilver card used to come in a Visa variety, and now it just exclusively comes through Mastercard. Even the SoFi card is a Mastercard. Hey Spade, why do I keep getting $1,000 limit cards? Why is that? I think well, obviously the credit limit you start with is going to mostly be based on your income. So whatever income you're putting down. Also remember, you can actually use your household income if you're, if you have a roommate or if you have a partner or you're married or something, then you can use your combined income. That's going to help you out when it comes to the limit increases. And then they look at the limits of your other cards. So that's why it's always good to continuously ask for increases on your other cards. You can get those up as high as possible because they look at the limits on those other accounts to gauge what you're used to, what you have experience with. So that's going to play a part also. A lot of people find, and myself included, find that you get your starting credit limit tends to be very similar to the starting limits of your other cards. Okay, so Ellen Beck, that's a good question. I'm gonna tell you a couple things here. So you're saying SoFi credit card or Amex Everyday Blue Cash card, maybe Wells Fargo Active Cash card. Trying to decide to round out my cards. So the only reason I'm gonna go for a SoFi card, but here's the downside of that is you need to be in the SoFi ecosystem, meaning you need to set up a investment account or a SoFi money checking account so that you could redeem those rewards and get the full 2%. If you don't use one of their other accounts to redeem the rewards, then you're only going to get 1%. So you have to use, another SoFi account. For the Wells Fargo, I've recently found out that that's going to be very good for Costco purchases because it's a Visa card. So if you want a flat 2% card that works at Costco, then you can use a Wells Fargo card. And the Amex Blue Cash, that I think that earns 6% back at grocery stores. That's a little bit different. If you don't already have a 2% flat rate card, I would go for one of those two, the Active Cash or the SoFi card. I would go for that first before kind of building out the rest of your system if you want to go that route. No, Ace of Spade. No, I don't think there's rarely. So you're saying, should I close my accounts and start over reapplying for cards? There's rarely a case where you need to close an account. The only time I would ever close an account is if you have an annual fee card that you're not getting value from. And that's about it. It could hurt your credit eventually, because when you close an account, after 10 years, it will fall off. But the biggest thing you have to worry about when you get rid of that account is that your available credit limit is going to go down. If that account represents a large percentage of your available credit limit and that gets chopped off and it gets removed from your credit profile, then that's going to really negatively impact your credit score. So you definitely want to keep those cards open. Just, set them to the side, what they call sock drawer those cards. That's really what you want to do. Yeah, Bruce Wayne, listen, I think that's the best bet for a Visa to shop at Costco that I've seen was the Active Cash with Wells Fargo. So it's going to give you a flat 2% there. Yeah, that's a good question, Cinnamon. How is utilization reported if you only have a charge card? I'm not exactly sure. I don't think they report that. There's certain cards that don't report aspects. I don't think I believe that that aspect is not reported. So that particular detail or variable of the card is just not reported. I think they only report, I guess, your payment history. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Danny, yep, it won't get reported. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I do this every week at 7 p.m. on Sundays. So you'll see me next weekend, Sunday at 7 p.m. Really good hanging out with you guys. And you have a good night.